last session. Pangolin, Lancelot, and Brian, also known as Brain, woke up in very posh prison cells. And after making a bit of ruckus, you were escorted with the help of Igni, played by Borgat, and you were introduced to a very powerful mutant who has advised you all that you are now on the radar of Kinetics. And had they not intervened, you would now be in the hands of Kinetics. Whether or not you believe that, who knows? You were all offered two paths to go on your way and be more cautious, or go straight into Kinetics' hands. At which point your memories would be wiped and you'd have no knowledge that your life had been saved that day. The second option was to fight back against Kinetics. You were all offered a mission. You were all told that your skills would be helpful, and you decided that's the route you wanted to take. You then met up with a mutant called Princess, who had a very interesting drive with you. You drove in the underground network that runs under the UK for quite some time. You destroyed her spy skills cassette tape. That will probably come back to bite you, I'm pretty certain. And we left as you had got to the end of one tunnel and you started to make your way to a location that you had been given as an old abandoned warehouse owned by Kinetics. And I believe the formation was that Pangolin was at the front of your crew digging away, as Igni heated the walls around to make the rock and the soil easier to maneuver. Hagen, you were providing light and life support to everyone in the tunnel with your suit.
Yep.
And Scoon, you were using your... I keep wanting to say telepathic. And to bring the tunnel back down after you, because you were advised, do not leave a trail.
Yeah.
And that is where we will pick up. Ooh. So, you are digging through the dirt. Hagen, you are looking at the tracking device that you were given.
Mm-hmm.
You're advising. It's a bit of a trek, not gonna lie. But yeah, you're just slowly making your way underground in this bubble that you're creating as a team.
Say, chaps, I know I'm the one with the tracking device, but are we there yet?
I mean, you keep asking this. The answer's still the same, even if your voice has got all fancy and confident. That's Pangolin, he's the one digging.
Oh. Go forward.
I can tell you that the voices in my head, they also want to know if we're there yet.
See? Not just me. I mean, I'm just basically nothing more than a flashlight at the moment.
Oh, what does it say on the GPS that you're holding in your hand?
I don't know. What does the GPS say?
You look down and it is now less than a mile to go. It's quite accurate. It's down to about 70 meters left to go, telling you to head in the direction that you're going now.
In miles and meters, that's interesting.
Fancy sat nav.
Wish I'd brought a lunch.
Almost there.
Yeah, well, I don't think they'll have a canteen there.
So, what exactly are we supposed to do once we get there?
I know what they were doing there. They were apparently making a chemical or something.
Good. How are we supposed to work this out?
Well, you use your eyes and you look, You go, things and stuff. I don't know. We'll work it out when we get there.
So
You
you
think I've done
have
this before?
no education in the sciences, is what we're saying. You don't know how to read chemical signs or signals?
Mate, I was born in a hole in the ground.
Ah, so you went to a comprehensive school.
I think you're trying to make a joke, but it's not landing.
Pangolin, as this chat's going on behind you, you're concentrating on clawing out the dirt and moving it aside. You do notice all of a sudden the dirt gets very dense and there's a lot more rubble now. It's all, it's definitely getting harder for you to dig your way through this land now.
I think it's harder.
Well, we should probably be a bit quieter then. Can you dig quieter?
I think with it's harder.
Ah, do we go up then?
Does Satnav say we're there?
I'll check the sat-nav.
The sat-nav's now down to about 10 meters from the saved location.
Just 10 more meters, chaps.
Okay, and then we make a little hole to look out of.
Ah.
Hey, Brain,
Yeah?
the voices in your head got any louder?
I only hear 3 specific voices. I don't know why. Normally I hear a lot more.
Okay. If you hear any more, just, for funsies, let us know.
Are they saying anything useful?
Well, one's actually kind of drowning out all the other ones, saying, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?"
I'll check the device. Almost.
Does it sound like Pangolin?
Yeah. The device is basically now indicating you have arrived.
Ah, stop. We're here. Yes.
Looks like we're in a tunnel.
Dig up.
Oh.
But carefully, just make a little hole so you can peek out of.
I start to dig up.
Yep. And as you dig up, it takes about a few movements of soil before you reach a concrete barrier of pure, solid, steel reinforced concrete.
Right. On floor.
Can you
This
dig
is what we
through
call.
that? Or use
Yeah.
your strength?
And you break through it quietly.
Ah, I can do this. I'll move forwards and try and punch my way through the foundation.
Quietly.
Okay, let's get a strength roll with your suit modifier on that then.
Let's see.
Not really quiet.
It's not the method I thought you'd go with, but sure, let's do this.
Strength roll. Which feat is it on? Oh,
So, should just is
Stats and skills, very top left.
Ah, there we go. Yeah.
got it.
Does anything happen?
Yeah, and you push the whole ground. You feel it connect. The rock cracks. There's an almighty crack around all of you as this just, you feel all the ground vibrate around you. And this loud explosion, dust flies into your little group hole. And you are looking at a hole of darkness above you.
Can I see anything in here with my dark vision?
As you look up from underneath, you see the ceiling. It's quite high up. You can see pipes and everything running at the top. but you can't see anything. You're in the middle of the cluster. I mean, if you want to move out of the hole, this hole so far is only, it's only a person-sized hole at the moment that you're all looking through, and it's slightly above you.
Do I hear more voices?
I'll grab hold of Igni.
As you hear the rubble settle, all the little bangs and tings, it just goes back to silence. And you listen out, can't hear anything, but you're pretty certain if there is anyone, they're probably alerted and will probably be waiting to see what comes out of said hole.
Well, maybe I need to phrase this question differently. Do I hear any voices?
Ah, right. Sorry. Yes. You just hear the voices from your party. You hear Pangolin singing the Spice Girls song. You hear Lancelot going, this needs a bit more work, this modification. And you hear Igni, well, I don't see anyone. And all these are mustering together, but you don't hear anything else. It's a bit quieter. You know it's late at night, so it's usually quieter at night, but you don't hear anything else. Just your own party.
Well, I
Who
don't
wants
see
to look
anyone.
first?
Let me out. I can see in the dark.
I'll grab Igni and I'll lift him through the hole.
Igni will
Unceremoniously,
speak her
without
up.
warning.
Yeah, you lift Igni up through the hole. Igni, are you going to try and resist this?
No, but she will squeak as she's grabbed.
Okay. And
So-
yeah, you're thrust up through the hole like a meerkat, and you're in a large warehouse chemical operations. You see there are big vats, there are loads of pipes and equipment. There's like loads of what you assume is machinery, but you can't tell because there's just cloths laid over them. And it's...
I was going to say, can I see any cameras?
Not really, no. You
There's
look
no
around and you
light.
scale the ceiling. You don't see any obvious little cameras or anything.
There's no lights or anything at all, like even like a little
No.
like standby lights.
Absolutely pitch black.
So I'll give them 10 seconds and then I'll lower them down. Did you see anything?
I was just gonna clamber out. I started to clamber, then I put back down.
Yeah, you don't get
No,
a choice in that.
It seems pretty clear out there. I can't see anything. It doesn't look like there's any cameras or anything. Everything's got
Good.
cloths on it.
In that case then, shove them back up through the hole.
It will clamber out of the hole.
What's next?
Do we have to climb?
You could just dig the hole out more. I don't think Pangolin would fit through this.
I just fly up.
Yep. You just slowly levitate up and onto the surface. It's pitch black. There's a little bit of moonlight coming in through some of the windows, but it's utter darkness. You can't see more than about a meter in front of you.
I'll put the flashlight on my phone on.
Yeah.
So you can have a bit of visibility around the outside of the hole.
And as Igni waves round her, like, you also see this machinery that's all covered in sheets, vats, bowls. What you would expect in a chemical operations plant. But it looks old. You look at some of the equipment under the light and you can see it's all damaged. There's some stains on it. You wouldn't say that it's been operational any time recently.
Nothing really interesting here up till now.
Well, we got some investigating to do. We need to wait for the big chaps to get out this tiny hole now. This will be fun to watch.
Maybe
I'll
we
take a
first
few
need to
steps
find a
away.
light switch.
Well, if a light goes on, if anyone's looking at the building, it'll be a bit noticeable, right? The Tin
Say,
Man's got
Mr.
lights
Pangolin.
and suits.
He
I
does.
said, Mr. Pangolin, should we look for some stairs?
Go up.
Yes,
I'll
but
yeah.
start climbing up on Lancelot's suit.
Yeah. And you see Pangolin almost like an animal just like grabs onto the walls and just shimmies himself up, climbing vertically.
Pool's too small.
He's
Should I make
slightly
a bigger
making
one?
it. He's slightly making it bigger as he goes. So little bits of dust and stones are coming down and hitting you on the suit, and you ding ding like little raindrops of stone.
Yes, I do see a problem. Does anyone have any rope?
I
No.
never use rope.
Dig it bigger.
I'm gonna. Are you still stuck in the hole?
I'm still down in the hole. Yeah,
I'm just gonna pick him up.
Yeah.
the hole's not big enough for me to get out of.
I'm just gonna pick him up.
You didn't ask that.
Yeah, and he picks you up and he lifts you up. You bang into the roof and you crack and like you get stuck for a slight moment and you kind of have to like jimmy it out. But fortunately, your suit manages to push out any little bits of rock that were stopping you. It's a bit awkward, but yeah, you do manage to slide back out. And as you do, you hear more rubble collapsing beneath you as more of the floor slides into this hole that you've just came out of.
Well, at least the hole's closed now.
Wait, where do I have to
Pangolin's
climb
not
out?
out of it.
Well, you've scratched the paintwork. Need more bloody Halford's primer for this.
Pangolin, get out the hole.
Right.
Just dig his way out.
I clamber through all the rubble that's falling on me.
Yep. And yeah, you Pangolin and Lancelot, you're now in this darkened warehouse.
Dark in here.
Dark in it. Yes, I was good. Yeah, what he said. I mean, I can see, but it's still weird. Feels like we're somewhere we don't belong. Which I guess we are, since we're breaking and entering.
Can I see any sources of heat nearby, outside of
Doesn't
where my parts
breaking
go?
and entering suggest that
No.
we break a lock?
I mean, digging and entering is not really a crime as far as I'm aware.
We broke the floor.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes, but-
Pangolin, you look around for any heat signatures around. You only see your party.
Right.
I'll
Everything
do
else
it.
is cold.
I'll do a sensor sweep while I'm here waiting. Also,
Yeah.
push some of the... Yeah.
Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
Mostly... trying to remember what bloody sensors are on the suit now. Hang on, let me just look under powers.
Mhm.
Not that one, not that one. Oh, I could have got that the old. Never mind. Oh no. Yeah, no. Dark vision, direct senses, direction sense, distance sense, infravision, time sense, ultra hearing, dark vision, and accurate radio. Never mind. Yeah, dark vision and infravision.
Yeah, so you activate your dark vision and you see more of this warehouse, and more chemical operations going on. On your infravision, it's almost cold, but you see that you feel like there are faint signatures around you, but it's so faint you're almost certain it's not there.
I'll approach the closest one of these not quite heat signatures.
Yeah. And it's on the walls. It takes you a few seconds to get over to it. And it's on a pillar, and you realise it's a wire. And there's multiple wires, but there's only one of them, and it's so faint that you assume it must be an active wire.
Does it look like it's been yanked out of something?
No. It's there alongside multiple other wires, and it's just running out of the floor straight up to the roof.
Would I be able to trace the wire, or is it an impossibility even with all the gubbins?
It's so faint you wouldn't be able to just stand and like follow it with your eyes. You would have to physically follow the wire, which will probably take you a good bit of time.
Yeah. I'll make them aware that there's active wiring here. Might be something, might be nothing, might be an alarm. You know.
Right.
Yep.
So I'll start taking a more direct interest in the chemicals.
Yep. And where there's two sections into this big warehouse you're in. You see at one end there's as you're looking around, there's one end where there's all this machinery, and then there's a load of racks that look like there's something on them, but again they're all covered in these blankets.
I was
Well,
going to
there's
say I'm going to
definitely
start removing blankets.
Yeah.
Piling them up by the hole.
Where are you removing blankets from? The racking area or the machinery area?
Probably would have taken one off the machinery and then gone over to the racking and taken them off. I don't really
Yeah.
have a direct approach to this. I'm just pulling blankets off.
And the first one that you pull, as you pull it, a cloud of dust appears. There's so much dust that's gathered. These sheets haven't moved for a long time, and you cough at first because it's so unexpected.
Can I beat my wings to try and blow this dust
Yeah.
away?
And as you do, you kind of create a bit more of a cloud because you pick up dust off the
Oh, no, it's
floor and off
backlight.
other machines, and all of a sudden the whole room now has this hefty, dusty air to it. You all taste it. It's kind of burning the dust as you breathe it in. It's almost like it's burning the back of your throat. This whatever it is, maybe residual powder or something. And as you look at the machinery, as you put the blanket down on the floor, you can't help think that machines down in Sanctuary are more modern looking than this.
These machines are old as heck.
In that case, then, I'll take a look at the chemicals, see if anything jumps out at me.
Okay.
Have you found any chemicals yet?
Well, so Lance, you're heading to the racking area, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Pangolin, what are you doing?
Pull more blankets off machines.
Yeah. So you start helping, and you're throwing more and more dust into the air as you're doing this.
I accidentally throw one over Igni in the process.
Yeah,
I'm not really paying attention.
Yeah, and this blanket lands on top of you, Igni, and you're blinded for a brief second.
Panic and fight with it.
Yeah, you set the thing on
Without
fire.
flames. No flames. A room full of dust.
Yeah. And you hear this Igni like punching through the blanket, and she
Rolling on
throws
the
it
floor.
off.
I think I've
Brain. Brain, what are you doing?
Well, I still don't see anything, do I?
No,
As in darkness.
just darkness.
Is there
You do see the light. Sorry.
Yeah, is there a door there that might have some light coming through it?
You can see one end of the room, beyond the crates and everything. You could see like what you assume are doors, because you can see like windows on them where the outside light's coming in. But you can't see any other signs of doors in the darkness around you. They're the only signs that there's something at head height that could be a door related, and you think, oh, it makes sense with the location. And you do get flashes of the room as Igni and Lancelot light up wherever they are at, and the light kind of bounces a little in the room. But yeah, you kind of make out what you think is a door at one end.
I'm going to keep watch from the at that door.
Okay, you're gonna head towards the door. Yep.
If I could see Brain struggling in the darkness, I'd probably just say to him, "Do you want my phone? You'll be able to see a bit better then."
Phone?
I'll just pass you the rectangular shaped object with light coming out of one of the corners. Just use this. Don't drop it. Don't break it. Don't do anything with it. It's just a light source for you. Don't drop it.
I'll let it float towards me.
I'll do like the care hands, almost like walking up with it in case it drops, ready to catch it until it's in your hand. If it goes to your hand, why is that just
person
sort
possible.
I just let it float near me.
I'll slowly. Okay, just if you drop it, I'll burn your eyebrows off.
And Lancelot, while this is going on, you've approached some of the racking, and you start pulling off these blankets, and you're left with barrels, all strapped up, all welded shut.
Hmm.
There's no marks on any of the barrels that you can see.
I just tap a couple of them.
Yep.
They sound full.
As you tap them, they are full. Whatever's in them is full. You can hear a little slosh, so you know it's some sort of liquid in these barrels.
Liquid, sealed, in barrels, welded shut.
Are you talking out loud when you say that?
Yeah, I'll say it out loud. I can think of only two reasons for doing this. Toxic waste or human bodies.
That sounds disgusting both ways. Should we open them?
Whiskey.
I feel we should abstain from opening them. They were welded closed for a reason.
But then we need to open them to find out if they're chemical, so we can find out what they were doing with them.
See, this is the Schrodinger's cat thing. Yes, if I open it and there's toxic material inside that can kill you instantly,
I can just
you're
weld
dead.
it shut again.
Yes, I can't weld it closed fast enough for it
I
not
can
to
weld
kill
it
you.
closed. I just hold my breath.
Right. And what if it's volatile enough to explode?
Then how would they have welded it shut?
Good point.
I know fire things. It's kind of my job.
Yes. Logic.
That too.
In that case, then, I'll sort of step back from the racking. How many barrels are there roughly?
A lot. I mean, you're at the bottom of a set of racking that goes almost 40 foot into the air, and on every level, every 6 feet, there's another level. There's another, what you can tell is barrels under these cloaks.
How big are these barrels?
The barrels are like a proper barrel.
Oh, that's against health and safety, that is, mate.
Yeah.
I know.
OSHA's going to shut them down.
On each rack, there are 4 barrels deep on each pallet, and you estimate that there's probably about 50 pallets long on each line, and then there are multiple rows of this.
In that case, then I'll step back until I've got a nice view of the rack and go, hippy dippy, my spaceshipy on a course through troop. That's Neptune, Pluto's moon. The month I choose is that one. And move down the line to remove one of the barrels.
You feeling alright there, mate?
Perfectly fine.
Great. Grab a barrel and let's open it.
Here we go. So grab one from the line. Drag it to the middle of the room, because why not?
Yep.
Right.
Okay, everybody, if this explodes and kills us all, blame Princess. She brought us here.
I can take
I'm
it.
close at the door, so I don't mind.
Yep.
Right, well, just me and the firing line then. Right, okay, here we go. I'll take my finger and just superheat it and try to start undoing the weld that's on it.
And you take your fingers and you heat them up. Sparks start flying as shards of the metal and the dust ignite around the barrel, and you start slicing open the barrel. You pierce it open. A horrible pungent smell very quickly emanates, And
I'll immediately gasp and hold my breath.
yeah, and you continue cutting. It's not exploded yet.
I'm glad that.
Brain. Why do I keep reading it like that? Brain.
Yeah.
You're at the door. You hear the sparks, and you see the flame where Igni and Lancelot are. You get to the door. You can see things a bit clearer now, and what you couldn't tell from further in the warehouse was that on this door, the windows have a tape on the outside, and it's a warning tape. And when you try and touch the door, you feel this door is solid. It's not only locked, but it feels like it's barred on the other side. You're certain you're definitely not getting out this door, and it's locked from the outside.
Guys.
What?
Bit busy.
Yeah, but this facility is locked from the outside,
Abandoned.
Well,
barred and everything.
Right.
yes, that's what happens when you abandon a facility. You lock it up from the outside.
But with this kind of material of a door, it's really thick material.
And as you're looking out the window, you see just in front of the door, there's a signpost, and there's clearly a notice on the other side facing anyone who would be coming towards these doors. And you see, after you notice that, you notice you're on there's a road outside, and there are other warehouses around. And you do see in the distance, one of the other warehouses, some security patrolmen walking around the outskirts of it with torches. But they're quite a way away.
I can't read the notice from here, can I?
No, so you're seeing the back side of it.
I'm gonna turn the notice around and hold it in front of the window.
Okay, yeah. And you concentrate, you rip whatever this sheet is off, and you bring it to the window. And the notice that you see is as follows.
Notice of destruction. Data.
Warehouse is spelled wrong.
Warehouse is due for destruction on the 17th of 19. No balance to keep this prior. Only level 1 allowed. Guys, what's the date?
The date is precisely whatever the date is, because it's on my hood.
Yeah, and the date is the 22nd of March.
What year? I forgot what year we're in.
2019.
Thank you.
Is it? How is that relevant, by the way? You missed a bit.
Well, this entire warehouse is due for destruction on the 17th of May.
Right. We're not
What
planning
was
to
the
be
date
here that
again?
long.
It is a kinetics warehouse.
We know. That's why we're here.
And they are expecting civilian casualties of 30,000.
Wait, well, how are they just taking this place apart?
Boom.
Wait, they're going to blow this place up deliberately.
Yeah.
But how are they going to blow the place up?
Boom.
Bombs? Maybe this place
Yeah.
has got bombs in it.
Yeah, still holding onto the barrel to keep it steady.
You're holding this barrel that's been
I'm
covered.
still unwelding it. I never stopped.
At this door, is there a little split that I can maybe get the paper to this side of the door? Like under the door? Or...
It's going to take you a little concentration, but yeah, I mean, you can eat, like, there's a gap at the bottom of the door. Takes you a bit of concentration, but you're able to lower it, flatten the paper on the floor, and then pull it through.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
going to get it inside.
Yep. And yeah, you've got this notice in front of you, in your hand now.
I'm taking it to the group and like, any of you know Chris Blackman?
No.
Who?
Who's that?
I'll crunch the barrel slightly at that. Who? Crunch.
Hey, don't crunch the barrel. I'm welding it.
If I get this notice correctly, it's a director of Kinetic who authorized the explosion of this building and 30,000 civilian casualties. Give or take. Might be off by a few hundred.
Now, yes, I do know that this gentleman, Christopher Blackman. I used to work for him.
Wait, what?
And then I want to ask you one thing, and please be honest. Was he a dick?
Well, he was one of the Kinetic's worst bastards in the R&D division. Yes.
Explains
I won't exactly say that he skins puppies in his spare time, but I wouldn't put it past him. He definitely gives off a certain Cruella de Vil. Oh, wait,
Cool.
Explosion, 30,000. I'll look down at the barrel again.
And I'll show you guys.
As you're thinking of this, you think, and you vaguely remember that, yes, there was a guy in your department called Chris Blackman. Maybe this isn't that Chris Blackman. And you do remember that there was a selection of security officers who used to come round, who, as far as you knew, were like the top security dogs, and they were always referred to as the Blackman team. And you vaguely, yeah, so you feel like this. It could be this guy in your R&D, but you don't remember him being a director.
Yeah, sorry, I've just reread part of the character sheet. Realised I'm reading the wrong bit. The wrong thing. Yeah, sorry.
It's fine.
Yay.
But you do know this guy.
I'm more worried about the words explosion, 30,000 casualties, and we're at ground zero.
Well,
I open the barrel.
I would say.
Yeah, and by this time, Igni, you've completed the rim, and you managed to just stop just shy so that it's still attached, and then you lever off this thing, and you thought it was dark, but as you peer into this barrel, it's darker. The blackest liquid you've ever seen. There's no reflection from it. Even if you cast your light on it, it's just solid black.
It's filled with Vanta Black.
It's Fanta Black.
Can I take one of the blankets and just dip a corner into the liquid and pull it out and see if anything happens?
And as the blanket touches, you just see the liquid just get absorbed so easily. Whatever this liquid is, it's thinner than water, so it just and you just see the whole blanket just goes black as and you drop it on the floor, and it makes a squelch noise, and like it starts running on the floor around a little bit.
What is this shit?
I've no idea.
Well, I thought you might have had an idea if I opened it.
I mean, there's no chemical symbols on the barrel, so don't think my senses would be able to determine what it is.
Could I taste it?
Do you really want to stick something that's been sealed into a barrel into your mouth?
Stick my finger in and taste it.
Do you?
It's Pangolin. What do you expect?
Okay. And Pangolin just dips his finger in and licks it.
Oh God.
Right, okay.
Thus ends the career of Pangolin.
Okay, we're looking for a new character. Anyone?
And anyone want to land a joke?
Next upgrade, ability to vomit inside helmet.
I feel really professional here. I'm pulling up the chemical sheet so I know what it is exactly.
Do you think Pangolin would know? Raid him.
Okay. How are you just dipping the tip of your finger in? Okay.
I can taste it.
Okay, I'm gonna get you to do 2 rolls. No, yeah, you'll do. Can you roll me your toughness, please?
What's the DC? Anything below 20, I automatically pass.
Okay, hang on.
He can take it.
I can take it.
Yeah. Next roll, instant death.
Not gonna lie.
Didn't expect anyone to taste the black liquid.
It's above 20.
All right.
It's definitely above 20.
We're about to find out if Pangolin can take damage.
And Pangolin, for a second, you
hang on.
taste.
Before you.
Oh.
No, sorry, I just want to check something. It's fine. I can do it after you tell me. It's fine.
Yep. You taste
0 point ready.
a very inky substance. You taste it's like coppery, and there's flavors you've never known. And as you're trying to focus in on the flavors, all of a sudden you gain a huge headache.
Oh.
And you're overwhelmed, and you're gonna almost collapse. It's not enough to fully knock you out, but you're weakened for a brief moment. You just, this headache waves over you. You feel a burning sensation in your head.
Oh. It tastes like headache.
Well, let's not taste it anymore.
Right.
Yes.
I can still taste it.
What does it taste like exactly?
Headache.
Tastes like headache. I'll just melt the lid back.
Oh, violin that.
What?
I'm gonna melt the lid back on.
Yeah. Okay.
So no one else is tempted to taste.
No one else. I don't think anyone else was.
I do want to try if I'm able to get a bubble of the liquid out of it with my mind.
Sure. I mean, you'll have to keep concentrating to maintain it. With it being a bit more of a complex form and it's liquid. But you could certainly do that.
Just see if it has a substance or in any way, because you're saying it's lighter than water. So
yep,
that's dense.
Yep.
Pangolin.
Yeah. You pick up this ball of the liquid just before Igni gets the lid pushed back down. It's about that size of a ball that you're sustaining at the moment, and it's just hovering in air. You see the ripples. It's very wobbly and shaky. You feel that if you stop concentrating, this thing's just going to drop and splash. Pangolin, can you roll me a perception for me?
Hang on. Tastes like headache. Looking at stuff hurts.
Yeah, you're so overwhelmed by this headache. That's all you can concentrate on at the moment. Anyone? Well, you're all around this barrel, apart from Brain, because you're concentrating. Igni and Lancelot, if you want to roll perception as well.
25.
Yep.
It's the worst. Oh no, I'll not say that.
You rolling?
Yeah, what's that? Perception is...
Should be on the right-hand side of your character.
Oh, yeah, it's a skill.
Yeah.
Oh, show off.
And both of you, you're almost a bit distracted by Brain holding this ball and everything. You just look over at Pangolin, who's almost like just holding his head. And the finger that he dipped into the chemical is still black. Pure black. And you can see it's on his skin wherever he's put his hand as well.
I'm going to grab a piece of cloth and try to gingerly sort of mop his head up. It's like, stop touching yourself.
Yeah. And as you do, like, you're certain you've caught all the wet version of the chemical, but his skin, wherever it's touched, is almost stained black now.
In the meantime, I'm putting the bubble back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lock on me.
So, yeah, I'll try and mop as much off him as possible without crushing his skull, if that's possible.
Yep.
You can take it.
I can take it.
You mop it off. I'm going to ask you to roll. I'd say you roll your dexterity or your agility, whichever you think is your better roll for how careful you're being right now.
Dexterity or agility? Oh God, my fuck! It'll have to be agility. What's that?
And as you're mopping this up with these towels, you think you've just got the last of it, and as you put the cloth back down, you look at your hand, and you also have this black substance now on your skin.
On the suit skin.
Yeah, on the suit.
Yeah, it's on the suit. Sorry, on the suit.
Yeah. Oh, this can't be good.
Lancelot, you came across as the learned type. Do you know what this could be?
Well, it's not corrosive, so that
It's
only
like headache.
leaves explosive.
If
gonna
it's explosive,
Well, they're intending to blow this place up, and as so far this is the only stuff in here that looks even remotely dangerous.
But if it's explosive, why didn't it blow up when Igni was opening the barrel?
if it was explosive through a spark, it would have exploded when they were welding it closed.
Yes, it's a fascinating thing, explosives. Certain explosives can actually be only blown up by certain conditions. An implosive, for example, electrical charges, or something else. All depends on the chemical makeup.
Are there only barrels here, or also other materials?
Roll me a perception.
Perception.
Oh, it should be on your right. And it is dark, so it's a bit hard, but there's a lot of racking here, and you kind of see through some of the dark. On some of the racks, there's different shapes that are under these cloths. Maybe you'd have to go and have a look. You couldn't say outright at the moment.
Andy,
Yes.
with the... I don't know if I'd be able to see with my dark vision with the lights coming from the suit. Is it a black on the skin, like pitch black, or is it more of like a grey?
No, it is black.
Okay.
Pure black. He's got a happy face on his head.
What? No, let's not do that. That's silly.
So currently my suit's projecting a lot of it's projecting like spot launch, right?
Yes.
and we know there's windows,
Yes.
and we know there's patrols outside,
Yes.
and no one's told me any of this at the moment.
Nope.
Yeah.
The only person who knows about the patrol at the moment's Brain.
Yeah.
And he's only told you about the note. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm just going to shine more light on the racks and just be damned everything.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I wonder what this could possibly...
So if they're going to blow this place up and it's already sealed off, has anyone seen any like bombs or anything that could allude to there being some kind of bomb in here?
Well, there are faint electrical charges in the wiring still.
Could that be
At
wide
least we
to a
can
bomb?
say it is safe that there's nobody here because they already said 90 days before it will be exploded, they evacuated everything here.
Their
kinetic
people,
employee.
not civilian people.
Yeah, civilian casualties are kind of the problem here. I mean, that it's scheduled to be demolished on the 17th, correct?
17th of May, yeah.
And we're only in, what was it again?
We were in...
the current date's the 22nd of March.
Yeah.
You got roughly
So
just shy of 2 months.
Yes, I feel like we should probably disarm the bomb.
Oh, God. Paul has a good idea what this chemical could be, and it's killing him.
Mm.
I have a very strong idea I know what this is. Can I ask a question? Which... Are there many photographers down in Sanctuary?
It's too dark to be silver nitrate.
Photographers? There's probably a few.
I mean,
you
it's
would find in
underground.
any town. Yeah,
I mean, it's underground.
They
it's a
can still
perfect-
take pictures.
Yeah, it's a perfect dark room.
Yeah.
if
Do
you
any
need
of
it.
them? Do any of them use film cameras? I know what you're saying, Josh, but we're in a dark room, and it can apparently
Probably.
show up as black or grey.
I mean, you
Not
would have been
when it stains skin.
possibly, yeah. There would be definitely some film cameras and stuff.
Would there be any way that potentially Igni would know of somebody and maybe know if they use silver nitrate to help develop the pictures?
I'd need a role for this.
Would I be able? I know how to make a roll for this.
What role
Can I
would you
pinch
like
my
to
phone?
suggest?
I would like to pinch my phone back.
Yes,
And I'd like to
okay.
ring up the person I know who does that and ask them.
Okay.
Using my contact.
Let's roll. Okay. Roll me your investigation. Let's see if you actually know it. It's almost like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Let's see if what your contact list is like.
Oh, 22.
Okay. Yeah, you
Let's phone a
remember.
friend.
You remember? Yeah, you've got a friend who does film studies. Sure, you want to ring him? Let's phone a friend.
Get him on the phone.
Yeah, you ring him.
I'm still carrying the phone with my mind.
I'm holding it as well.
The phone's ringing, but there's no answer. But your phone's ringing, but when you look at your phone, it says no service. You then remember that in Sanctuary, they have their own phone network. And phones don't work on the surface back down to Sanctuary, because that would be a very easy way to track where they are.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a lot of phone signals.
Andy, I'm just going to point this out. If that's the case, that makes 2 of my advantages completely useless.
There are other methods. I wouldn't suggest using O2 or Virgin.
Carrier pigeon.
This makes 2 of my advantages and 1 piece of my equipment completely irrelevant.
Got a torch in it.
Is it a special phone, though? Have you been given a special chip?
You presumably, it was when we were doing preparation, you mentioned that I would have been given special equipment, which is why I have a rebreather and a mobile phone and stuff.
Okay, fair enough. So, all right. So, yeah, they would have given you the chip, the special SIM card that helps it It's like a VPN.
I'm
your
an
phone.
agent now.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah, you remember this, and then you remember you've not activated it, so you quickly do that. Rude down.
I go into the settings.
Go into the settings. Activate second sim. Hello.
Oh hi, it's Igny.
Oh, hey, Higney. I've not spoken to you in a while. Let me guess, you need a favour.
Yes. You read me like a book. So you know you do the
You've not
photographs.
spoken to me in 10 years, you know.
10 years. What is this? You could have come and seen me. You know I'm busy doing bits and bobs and I'm everywhere. Remember, Igny is only 22.
Yeah, like you met in school. It's been a while. 5 years ago.
So yeah, so you know you do photographs and stuff.
Yeah,
And
I dabble.
What's the stuff do you use when you're developing them? It can get your skin like stained, right?
And he tells you that chemical.
Which is silver nitrate.
Silver nitrate. It's usually silver nitrate.
Do you know if there's any tests you can do to know if it's actually silver nitrate?
I mean, the easiest test would be to try and develop a picture, right?
Okay, let's say I don't have a photograph.
And I don't know. I've never really had to test the chemical. It usually says it on the bottle, right?
Okay, but what if it
meant
didn't?
to say it on the bottle?
Yeah, it's supposed to, but this one doesn't.
If it's very explosive.
I mean, the color's one thing. It's usually like a yellowish brown sort of color. Or
Was the bubble what was pulled out the bubbly
it's pure
yellowy
black.
brown?
Pure black.
Do you know what would be like pure black and also stain the skin?
Ink?
No, but more chemical.
Permanent ink?
Ink's chemical.
Right,
Fanta black?
yeah, we don't like
Fanta
Fanta Black.
Black. Anish Kapoor will be after us.
Do I hear the surface frost of the guy he's calling?
No. No, that's not how that works.
Too bad. Would be fun.
Right,
Tell them how it smelled. Tell them how it smelled.
How does it smell? I've been wanting to ask this, but I know how bad it is to smell.
Smell putrid. It smelled like burnt tar.
Not like burnt tar?
It's like a headache.
Maybe
Can you Google
tar? Tar's black and that stains.
Listen, can you get to your computer, have a look on the internet, see if there's anything about chemicals and stuff like this?
Okay. And you hear the tappings.
Hang on, they're checking. I say to the crew, hang on, they're checking.
It's like blood and headache.
Dichloromethane.
How do you what?
Stage blood. It's what the chemicals that are black liquids.
Dichloromethane. Is that black or is it
paint?
I don't think this is black paint. Its color is black. It tastes like headaches, apparently.
Black. It makes all things black. It's black paint.
It's black.
I mean, it's kind of hard.
Lead-based paint.
It could be dyed. Maybe it's not meant to be black. I mean,
but if it stains black, and it's not coming off, and it's like less dense than water, any ideas?
I honestly, the only thing that I can think that stains so easily is something like an ink or something. Intenzine, Eternal.
Who?
Type of
Intenzine.
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
INTENZE.
Well, that's right. Okay, well, you've been great help. Bye.
Okay.
I'll just hang up on them.
Bye. Call me.
Fucking hell! You don't talk to some people for a reason, and then you remember.
Can I just?
No idea what this is.
So can I just pick up the piece of cloth on the not stained bit, pop open my helmet for a minute, give it a sniff, and see if I can determine anything.
And as you pick up this cloth and you sniff, there's no smell. It's
Okay.
it looks dry, and the cloth hasn't changed its texture or anything. It now just looks like a bit of black cloth.
That's true.
Not a cat string.
Yeah.
At this point, any of you who are apart from Pangolin, who is suffering one hell of a headache right now, do you want to all roll me a perception check?
Tastes like headache.
I'm looking at stream chat and wondering why my roll's not appearing in it.
It is for me.
Perception. There we go.
Not an IMT stream
go.
chat.
Oh, right. Yeah. So, Igni, you do cast your eye as you're looking around, thinking to yourself. Nearer to the production area, you do see along the wall there are a set of offices.
Yeah, there's some offices that way, I think. Wait, we should probably check them out since they'll have, maybe
Paperwork?
notes about the shit they keep.
Yes, good idea.
Also, Pangolin, there might be a chair you can sit in.
Right.
Yeah, in fact, Lancelot, can you roll me an insight check?
Waiting for this. Insight.
Be honest. Okay. I mean, you're not 100% certain, but you remember that one thing you could say about Kinetics is they were always very scrutinizing about their paperwork. Know that if they had a storage facility like this, there would be paperwork relating to what is in this chemical, what it is, somewhere nearby. It wouldn't be... They're not that free-spirited that they would just leave a warehouse full of stuff with no information.
Well, yes. I mean, they're very scrupulous. They make a thorough check to destroy all the relating paperwork. So,
But they're probably planning for it to be destroyed in the explosion.
Well, in that case, then the paperwork will be in the office.
Time and make sure when they exploded, they take civilian casualties.
I mean, it's a 5-mile explosion, so yes. I mean, we are talking something of a thermonuclear detonation radius.
I can take it.
Yeah, it's kind of extreme to just get rid of some paperwork. You could just buy a shredder, I mean.
Well, if they're planning to destroy this for two reasons, one to clear up something, but also to pin it on one of us, pin it on a mutant, and be like, look how dangerous they are. They made this huge explosion and killed loads of people.
Yes, and I don't know if you've ever seen the Batman films, but yes, I'm just saying paper shredding doesn't always work with patient people and sellotape.
I'm not a fan of cricket.
I lived on the streets.
So you've not seen the Batman films then?
Again, I don't watch much sport.
I've sometimes seen a comic book that someone way, but that's about it.
Comic books about sports?
My head tastes like headache.
I feel like we're kind of getting off topic here. You go into the offices, I'll look at the machinery.
Right.
Okie dokie. I'll head towards the offices.
I'll just mumble about kids these days don't even know what a decent bleeding superhero movie looks like.
I don't think there's many superhero comics because it got mentioned to me in the past.
That doesn't sound right. There's plenty of superheroes in this
There's
set.
definitely not Mutants comics.
One of my
Batman's
voices
not a
is talking
mutant.
about kids. What's wrong?
What?
That's disturbing.
Yeah.
Don't
So
listen to that one.
So I'll go examine all the machinery.
Okay, you're examining the machinery. Okay.
I'll use my phone to lead the blind duo who don't
Yeah,
have
I'm
dark
not
vision.
blind.
Do you have dark vision? Alright, well, the blind man.
Yep. Okay. Lancelot, you're closest to the machinery because the offices are further on, and you get to this machinery, and yeah, what are you intending to do here?
I'm trying to discern what the machinery actually is, what it does.
You can see very easily you can work out that there's a lot of series of vats and pipes. Some of the pipes run to tanks that are at one end of the warehouse up against a wall. There is clearly an area where chemicals you would expect will be brought in and will be added into the vats. And then there's like a manufacturing line where they would fill the barrels with this. You do tell that there's almost like two sections. It's almost as if like you're in a mirror line. So as you're looking at one side of the factory, when you turn round, you see the same. So it's almost as if like there are two setups for making two production runs. But whereas one looks like it ends off filling barrels, you see the other one looks like it ends up filling not like buckets or bags.
Smaller containers.
Yeah, it kind of looks like maybe it would be making more like a solid version of a chemical, maybe like a powder substance or something.
Substance.
And you see that there's like a load of empty bags kind of wrapped up near it. And as you kind of look more on this, you see that the racking on that side of the warehouse doesn't have barrels. They look different under these white sheets. They're definitely not barrels.
Any of these bags marked up?
You got to go and pull off the covers?
Yeah, I'll go and pull off the covers.
Okay.
Well, making sure the helmet's down so I don't get dust in my lungs.
Yeah. And you pull off the first sheet, and what you see is bags and bags of cereal.
Raw cereal, or cereal as in Cocoa Pops or something like that?
These are Cheerios.
Oh.
Little wheat hoops.
Wheat hoops. Ah, I know that brand. Yeah, wheat hoops. Ah.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, would anyone like to try and sample some of these? No. Evil thoughts. No.
Yep.
I'll walk over to the office then.
So you see this, and you're going to head over to the office, okay? Yep. So the rest of you reach the offices, and you go through a little door that leads through some thick walls with windows on. You see, there was almost like you heard the weather outside sort of thing. You heard a bit of wind in the warehouse. In these offices, it's even more quiet. There's definitely some sort of soundproofing in the walls here. You assume so because, if there are offices in the warehouse, they probably wouldn't want to be hearing that all day long. But yeah, you're in a series of offices. There's a load of desks with some very old-looking PCs on them. What are you guys doing here?
This place is old, so they'll probably keep notes in like a book rather than on a computer. So I guess split up and see if you can find any notebooks or something.
Yeah. And you very quickly notice that behind every desk there's a filing cabinet, and there are some lever arch folders on shelves around the office. Yeah. You go to the first one, and a lot of it's you find delivery paperwork of chemicals that have been delivered, but wherever it states the chemical, there's just a black marker that's gone over it.
How decent is the black marker? From working in a place where we had to do redaction, a lot of the time it's terrible.
It's decent. It's decent.
It's terrible. You're not doing redaction, you're doing busy work. If it's not redacted, that's not redaction.
Yeah.
Maybe they use the chemical that's in the barrels to do the redacting.
I jump as suddenly there's a man in a suit behind me.
Yeah, as Lancelot comes through the door.
There are papers that have that are redacted with pencil?
Not pencil, like a black marker pen.
Okay, I want to try something that will be really hard, I think.
Mm.
I want to try to use my telekinesis to separate the marker from the paper, to be able to see what's written on it or typed on it.
Okay.
I can't do that.
It will be pretty hard, I bet, but
It's gonna take you some time and a lot of concentration to try this. Okay, so you grab one of the sheets and you kind of sit down and you like put it flat on the desk and you lean over it, like, and you just stare at this line, focusing really hard on the ink. Lancelot, you walk into the office. Pangolin's kind of still stood at the door. He's been dragged along. He's like hand on his head, still like. Argh. You see Igni is at set of filing cabinets, pulling papers out, staring at them, and just tossing them in the air. And Brian is just sat on a desk, staring so intently on this piece of paper that's in front of him.
I'll sidle up to Brian and look at the piece of paper that he's staring at, and I'll just read it out aloud for him.
Yeah. And Brian, you're concentrating. All of a sudden, the desk back gets banged as Lancelot stands next to you, and he starts reading this paper, and all your concentration is lost.
dude,
I thought you were having trouble with the longer words.
no,
Wow, that's rude, mate.
I'm trying to be able to read the things that are redacted
How? By staring at it?
by trying to separate the marker from the paper. But it takes a lot of concentration, and you are breaking it.
Oh, right. Sorry. I'll step back and then just. You do realise that you're trying to remove ink from the page, correct?
Yes, I know. That's why it takes such a lot of concentration.
Just wanting to just point out that the words written on the page are also in ink.
Yeah, but it's
But not
different
the
ink.
same kind of ink.
But
It's
do you know how
marker.
to do that?
Well, that's the first time for everything.
Jolly good. I think I found a clue outside with the machinery. They've poisoned cereals, I think.
What?
There's big bags of cereals outside that looks like they've come through the production line. Probably infused with chemicals.
Eat some
sounds-
breakfast.
Oh,
They're like cereal hoops, like the things people eat for breakfast.
I only eat chocolate cereals.
Good man.
Man,
Person.
squint at you. My yellow eyes. Andy, is there like another smaller office which could be for, like a manager attached to this the offices, or is it just open plan?
No, it's an open plan office with multiple doors leading back out onto the warehouse, but there's no obvious sign of any manager's desk or anything.
Is there
Okay.
are there any desks that are like even in the open plan, there's no obvious manager desk like from where it's
No.
located? I'll just keep checking through them.
Yeah, and as you go through, you come across some delivery paperwork saying that cereals are being delivered, and
Does it
there's
specify
different.
who delivered it?
It states a company, General Transports.
General Transport.
General Transports.
Okay.
I want you to roll a perception at this point. You're looking through a lot of paperwork.
Okey-doke.
Wow.
Natural 20.
And suddenly something just hits your head. And all of a sudden you realise that all this paperwork, none of it says kinetics. all states that it was delivered to, received by Lance Industries.
Does Lance Industries mean anything to anyone? Besides the main
That guy
character.
in the robot's called Lance.
Is Lance a lot?
So he lances a lot.
Anyone
Isn't
who
Industry
wants to
Lance
check
a
this,
lot?
if you want to roll insight for me.
I'll give it a go, but yeah, 14.
I'm still trying to get the marker off of the paper.
Yeah.
I'm pangolin.
You
That's all I'm gonna give.
Lance, there's a bell ringing somewhere, but you just cannot remember. You
I'm
sure you've
so
heard that
annoyed
name
right now.
before?
Could somebody please turn off that bell?
I'll start looking through the paperwork at the chemicals and see if I can figure out what they would be mixed into.
Yep.
I'm so angry. I know what it is, and I can't say it because my character doesn't know.
I also know what it is, and I can't say it because Pangolin's an idiot.
I am ignorant at all times, in character or out.
Yep.
Can I stop looking through paperwork and see if there's any kind of first aid supplies? If there's a chemical, presumably there would be some kind of first aid in case somebody happens to ingest it. Could happen. Or
yeah.
flush it on.
Okay, yeah. You see
First aid station somewhere.
there's a first aid station at one of the doors leading into the warehouse, and you go over to it, and you open the cabinet, and it's empty.
Yes.
But hanging underneath is like a first aid book, and you notice it this time, saying Lance Industries on the front cover. And that's dangling underneath the first aid box.
Oh, I'll pick it up because it might mention the chemical in it.
Yep.
It might say what to do if is ingested.
And
consult your mortician.
When you turn the first page, there is a crib sheet of special first aid rules, rules of sight, rules to be adhered to, and one thing that catches your eye, it states no radio equipment prohibited on site.
No radio equipment prohibited?
No radio equipment is prohibited on this site.
Okay.
And it states
Everybody in this building writes really weirdly.
No, it's weird. It's like an idiot designed it. It also states like any electrical equipment that gives off signals are not to be on this site.
Oh dear.
It then has a second sheet behind for on-site chemicals, and you get a little happy at this, but it doesn't state anything. But it does state CX7349.
CX7349.
And then there's a warning.
Oh, hello.
If chemical comes into contact, person is to head immediately to Kinetics site C Charlie.
C Charlie, as in
C for Charlie. C for Charlie.
Okay.
In event of ingestion, no treatment. Call, and then it has a number for body pickup.
Oh shit.
Fucking circuit.
Pangolin,
Dead.
What?
Pangolin Sweetie, can you make yourself be sick for me just in the corner?
Hang on.
I know you can take damage, but have you got a gag reflex?
No, because I've got life support, sir.
And lower down on this front sheet, it says substance BF2154, no treatments required.
BF2154. I'm annoyed as well because I know one of those numbers is on the bloody sheet that I have no awareness of.
No treatment required, or no? There's just no treatment.
It says no treatment required.
Hmm.
Can mean a lot of things. It can mean that it will heal itself. It can also mean no treatment required because no matter what, you're gonna die.
Well, I mean, it doesn't give you the number for the body pickup, so maybe not. Maybe.
Well, yeah, if
Maybe
it
there
gives
won't
you
be a
a
body.
body
Maybe there
pickup,
won't be a
it
body.
probably will kill you.
And
So
go on.
I was just going to speak up and go. Does anyone know a company called Lance Industries? Sounds familiar.
I think so. I had a bit of.
Pangolin,
Lance Industries.
you remember a conversation?
I mean, remember's a strong word for Pangolin.
Yeah. You remember when you were at the manor house with the doctor? You're almost certain you heard that word.
Yeah, the dead guy. The dead guy said Lance Industries. I'll look around the room. Fuck, none of you were there. There were a dead guy, and he said Lance Industries, and then he got shot and he was dead. And then we stole his computer.
That's normally what happens when you get shot.
Not
You
to
die.
me. Not to me.
You can survive a bullet wound.
I will just. I'm trying. I want to help you, but not give the game away. I will remind you all. You are in the real world. This isn't D&D. You are in a real world setting, and you have
We're
advantages.
also deep underground with no connectivity to
Underground.
anything.
We dug
No,
up.
you're in a warehouse that's on the surface right now.
Oh. Well, I'm Googling
There's
things
walking
in
around
real
outside.
life, so presume that's what I'm doing in game as well.
Yep.
Looks like
Yep.
BF2154 is like a pinky red color.
What?
It's like a hex code for a color.
I
Right.
don't know computers. I ran away at a very young age, so I didn't grow up with computers.
Can I Google Lance Industries?
Yes, you can.
What comes up?
And what comes up
Is there a Wikipedia page?
is
The free
the-
online encyclopedia that can be edited by anybody.
yeah. There's a little page, and it states that Lance Industries was a UK-based company. There's various information on it.
You, Lancelot, as in Lance.
That's what I said.
I think you're reaching a bit there, guys.
His name's Lance.
You know, the only information that's really popular on every search website you click on is that Lance Industries ceased trading in 1992.
Can I look on companieshouse.com to see if it got re-established in a new name?
Yes, you can do that.
I'm using real world skills in a game. It's happening,
fine.
guys.
And what we will do right now is we're going to have a little break.
Hey, Brain.
Yeah?
How are you getting on?
How am I getting on?
And as he asks you this question, you're so fixated on the word, you don't even hear him. But you hear this little... And suddenly, you see the black mark lift in front of you, and it's moving towards your eyes. And as you move the black splodge away, there's now a hole in the piece of paper.
Unsuccessful.
Hey, I got a... So, Pangolin ate some of that black stuff, and you managed to pick up that black stuff before. Do you reckon you can pull that stuff out of his stomach so he doesn't die from it?
At this point, Pangolin, your headache is starting to ease.
Oh, I feel better. I think.
It's
Well,
not
can you
God,
at least
it's
pull it
easy.
off the skin?
Want
You
me
just
to
saw
get
what he
the-
did with the paper. I'm just gonna
He can
say that
take it.
right now.
You want me to take the black stuff out of Pangolin?
Yeah.
You
I'll
want
whisper
with
in
or
your
without
ear.
his guts?
I'll lean in and whisper, he might die.
I can take it.
Oh my god, he heard me. You might die, Pangolin, if you can't vomit that stuff up.
I can take it.
Okie dokie.
I don't think you are immortal, Pangolin.
I do.
Well, okay, Lance, a lot.
Yes.
You mentioned before there were like live wires in that other room.
Yes.
Were they all around the room?
Well, they ran into the rafters. They could possibly be everywhere.
So if they're going all around the room, were they evenly spaced?
I could go and check.
Yeah, I'm thinking that that's going to be what they'll send a signal through it, and that'll be. Oh, also, I'll turn my mobile phone off completely. Also, did the first aid book mention not to use radio equipment? I reckon that these chemicals might be sensitive to that stuff, so could go off.
One moment. Click. Turning off my radio.
Okay, so yeah, if those wires can do it, if they're all spaced evenly, maybe it'd be worth trying to find where they're coming from and stop them.
Yes, that sounds sensible. Back in a moment. And I'll go and try and investigate where the wires are going.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. What's everyone else gonna do whilst Lancelot leaves to go and do this?
I'll continue looking through files, see if I can find anything of interest.
Okay. And at the moment, you just seem to be finding more and more delivery notes that are dating back. And some of them aren't like old. I mean, some of these like everything runs up to like the 90s on the paperwork. The most recent paperwork you can find is like 95. Lancelot, as you go back into the warehouse, you go back up to one of these walls where you see this hairline of a heat signature. And you see it running up and up and up, and then it kind of goes across. And it looks, you can almost tell it goes across where the windows are.
I'll follow it across.
Yep. And you see it runs under every single window, and then when it gets to the last window, it stops. And then there's a bit of a gap between to the next pillar where you see another one wire coming up, and then that runs along to all the windows.
So there's a very good chance that the switch is on the opposite side of this window. Maybe.
But that's your conclusion?
I mean, the wires go outside, or do they?
No, they go up to where the windows are inside in the warehouse,
Oh, right,
and then they run underneath the window ledge.
I'll go and take a look at where the wire breaks and see if there's a device in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, you see one of the walls is a bit lower down where the windows are, and might be a bit easier, so you head over to that. And when you get there, you see where the wire runs under each window. It kind of then... You didn't notice it before because it's really fine, but it then... There's a branch off the wire that touches the window, and the whole window it has this very faint temperature reading that you see that's slightly warmer. The whole window pane itself is warm. You can see as if there's a current going into them.
Like an alarm system.
So, electric windows. Can I make a technology roll here to see whether or not I would know what
Yes.
this is?
Yeah, you can roll your technology.
Good, because that's about the only bloody skill I've got used at the moment. What could go wrong?
Yeah. You're pretty sure that this is either some sort of alarmed window or it's a heated window.
It's not snowing outside, is it?
It's not snowing.
Ah,
You also get the feeling if it was a heated window, it would be very bad because that current going through is not enough to melt any ice or anything on it. So you suggest you're probably leaning more towards it's alarmed.
ah.
And with your
so it means there is-
technology, with your technology, you would say that probably makes sense. That this is an old building. You've not set off any alarms. Old buildings, they probably just had alarms on the windows and doors, and that's about it. They don't obviously never expected someone to drill up through the floor.
So we did the smart thing.
Yes. You almost
First
opened the
time this
window.
session. Yeah. Did we open the window?
No, you didn't.
Oh, thank God.
You
for that.
almost did. Somebody went to the front door to open it.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
So.
But yeah.
So the alarms. Yeah. Okay, I'll go back to the office and inform everybody that there is an alarm in effect, but it just seems to be the doors and windows.
Yep.
Okay.
And then, having said that, then check the door going into the office to make sure that that's not actually wired into the alarm as well.
Yeah, and you do, as you get to the door and you kind of look at the door that you're stood in, and you just give it the alarm. It's a really old-fashioned wooden door. You can literally like push your suit through it. It's that thin of a wood. It's it's one of those doors that's for fake. It's not a real wall. They've just built it around as a needed. So yeah, there's nothing. Even the light switches and the walls in this office are like on the outside of the wall. The wires don't run in the walls or anything. It's clearly like a prefab job.
Yeah. Right. Oh, that's good. What is it?
Have we checked all the rooms at this point, or are there any other rooms misplaced we haven't looked into?
You check the office. You've slightly checked the machinery equipment, and you've only checked like a little bit of the storage area.
Okay.
And
Man,
you've checked the front door.
You looked at the machines. Do you know what they do?
They mix chemicals together. Make them together safely.
But we only saw one chemical, right?
Well, we only saw one finished chemical. I'll bring him back out and explain that one side does barrels, the other side does cereal.
Again, not him.
So it looks like they're mixing similar proportions of chemicals together, but for what reason, I couldn't tell you. Unless you have a list of the chemicals.
No, they seem to be good at hiding them. They just said don't eat it or touch it.
What?
Right. I'll just sort of look down at the mark on the suit and go, well, I mean, I'm safe. Wait. Mr. Pangolin?
What?
You've touched and ingested one of the chemicals, correct?
Yeah.
Are you feeling alive?
Think so.
Stop poking your head. You keep leaving more stains.
Oh, the other hand.
Oh.
Any
Oh, yeah.
and I'll just sort of try to think of the correct phrase. Any abnormal feelings or behavior?
Tasted like headache. Then tasted less like headache. Also, if I poke things with this finger, it goes black.
Igni, as this conversation is going on, and you're still looking through all this paperwork, there's one thing that you start to realise is that all the paperwork that's in these filing cabinets is all to do with incoming deliveries. There is no paperwork whatsoever about anything leaving, or any paper relating to pickups or anything.
Mm. Were there any procedures, any procedural notes that were found, or is it literally just delivery information in all of these things?
From what you can tell, it's just delivery paperwork in all the filing cabinets.
Were there no personal effects left here, like maybe a notebook from somebody?
You want to search through the drawers?
Yeah, I thought that's what I
Yeah.
was doing.
I thought you were just looking at the files and the cabinets and
Oh
stuff
no, I
like
was
that.
checking everything around there.
Okay. So yeah, you start opening some of the drawers on the desks. You find old bits of stationery. You find a bit more like notepads, but all the pages are kind of teared out and only the blank pages are left. And one of the drawers is locked.
I'm just going to open it. I'm just going to melt the lock.
Yeah. And as you do and you open it, there's a few bits of papers in there left. And you come across, well, some of them are a bit hard to read and scrunched up and faded, but there are two that you see, which I will share with you now.
Guys, I think I might have found something.
What?
It says Plant Industries. Oh, hang on, there's two of them. The first one is talking about that CX7349 stuff. It's apparently called marker silent fluid. The ingredients are top secret. It's toxic, lethal, and poisonous, I guess. There's a frequency, an activation frequency. It's apparently mutant marker ink. I wonder if this is the stuff they're using to tattoo mutants on the surface.
This stuff.
Yeah. Apparently a lady called Jane Foster authorized that. And says it's certified for use on humans aged 5 up. Possible side effects include fertility, episodes of rage, and confusion. That's not good. The other stuff, I guess the cereal is called rainbow sugar. It's a food additive. Let's see, blah blah blah. Authorized by Walter Hugh, whatever. Possible side effects include addiction, and the rest is redacted. This might, yeah, this seems to be about making super addictive cereal, or they were. We should probably take both of these. Lance, you seem to know everybody. Do you know either of these people?
You roll me an insight, Lance.
1 second. Sorry. Insight. There.
You don't recall the name Jane Foster, but you know Walter Hugh is the CEO of Kinetics.
He's in charge of kinetics. All of it.
Well, he's been making addictive cereal, apparently.
Addictive cereals.
Yeah. I don't know what else this stuff does. It's all redacted. But the other stuff... Andy, would it be knowledge for people in Sanctuary about the tattooing stuff that happens on the surface? Because I would be right in
Yes,
thinking that
yeah.
some people go into stuff come out with tattoos.
A few people in Sanctuary who've been taken, who have come to live in peace, have had these markers put on. So the marker situation is very well known in Sanctuary. As what kinetics do to mutants.
Okay. I think this is the information that they were looking for. I reckon we can probably take this. We can maybe take a barrel of the stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's not the best thing bringing an entire barrel back, but I suppose we have a sample on Pangolin now.
Several
Right.
samples.
Yeah.
What do we do about the bomb?
I think I have a horrible feeling that this ink technically is the bomb. There
What?
seems to be that if a certain frequency is used, it activates it. And there may be the chance that, I don't know what the activation means, but there's always a chance that that means it could explode.
Lancelot,
Yes.
can your suit create specific frequencies, maybe?
I have a radio I can tune, yes. Why?
Well, I would like to try, from a distance, of course, if that frequency works on the liquid, if it explodes or not.
Is that the safest thing to do when it's
There's a
on?
lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
In a safe distance, at a safe location, of course. Because if we know it's the liquid that will be the bomb, we might be able to stop this entire facility from exploding and taking all those innocent lives.
There's a lot of that stuff. There's a few months, but maybe it could be moved.
Well,
I'm not so convinced that it's the liquid in the barrels that's explosive.
I think if we're going to test it, we shouldn't do it in the facility.
no.
Just in case you set off, all of them and fast forward the explosion a few months.
I didn't want to test it in the facility. That's why I said in a safe location. In this facility, it's not safe. I mean, we're surrounded by barrels full of the liquid.
So do you think we
And
should bring a
Pangolin
barrel
has
with
it
us?
inside him. If we use a frequency near him, he might explode.
Yeah, I mean, to ate a little bit.
And no, Pangolin, you cannot take it from the inside.
I can take it.
No one can.
I can take it.
Oh, please don't
Yeah.
clip that. Oh.
Of course, you have
Yeah.
the wrong way of thinking.
It's Andy, what do you expect?
So, I'm blaming Hagen. He was laughing.
You can't blame Hagen.
I can.
You've all got dirty,
Bye.
filthy minds. Nothing to
Yep.
do with me.
I blame Rasinka for putting the hee in chat.
Actually, yeah, fair enough. I also blame Ross.
Oh, Ange, you're poor and innocent, sweet child.
Oh God! Don't Google it. Do not Google it. Stay on this side of safe search. Do
or
not
if you
Google
do,
that.
use incognito. So,
Yeah.
what are we doing here?
Yeah, I'm convinced that it's the cereal that's explosive, or that the explosive is not yet here,
Well,
and it's the cereal they want to get rid of.
the cereal is
Everyone
just
but Igni. I want you to do an insight check.
What?
Everyone but Igni.
I'm not ignorant.
Oof.
Oh crap!
Andy, I'm getting mad by this pattern sequence. Is that meant to be Morse code? 'Cause if it's Morse code, there are no spaces in it, and that is basically going to be impossible to try and discern. If it's Morse code, I will strangle you.
Brain.
Fine.
You're listening in on this conversation, and you hear, and you don't know what it is, but you hear the word rainbow sugar and candy, rainbow sugar and cereal, and you remember that that's a thing. Like on a lot of cereals in the shops, is that they have added rainbow sugar. And you remember it being a thing like since about like the 80s that cereal was coming out with added rainbow sugar. Because you remember it being on TV that there was a thing about how it was forcing kids to almost be addicted. But it's still on cereal these days.
What they put on blue Skittles.
Yeah, it's like on all the favourite cereals for kids, on the Cocoa Pops, the Fruit Loops, the Sugar Loops, the Weetabix, everything. They all have kid ranges of Rainbow Sugar Edition.
How could I remember that from the 80s when my character's born in 94?
You remember it like being a thing, on the news. You must have read an article about it and how, you just know that it's been around since the 80s, and like it was very controversial when it came out.
Yeah, one of the voices in your head remembers it.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't. Maybe the information came from somewhere. You're not sure.
Rainbow
Maybe you
Sugar,
read about it. Maybe you
Rainbow
did a
Sugar.
study on it when you were younger. Who knows?
Well,
We
But you
love Rainbow Sugar.
you are certain about that.
I once had one of my voices said to
You
me
remember
once
yourself eating that sort of cereal as well.
that there was some kind of rainbow sugar in cereal that made it extra addictive for kids.
Yeah, that's literally what I said to you. It's written down
Yeah,
here.
Sounds good.
it was something from the 80s, I believe.
Yeah, it was made in '84.
Sounds good.
But
Wait.
you're aware that it's still in cereal today.
It's still there, yeah. It's still.
The head of kinetics is the person who put rainbow cereal into production and into children from the 80s onwards, making them sugar addicts.
Also, the CEO of Kinetics signed us off under Lance Industries. That obviously must mean that Lance Industries became Kinetics.
Is the reason he's blowing this up because he wants to bury this?
I think it's got something more to do with the massive amounts of mutant marker ink that's being used on people and has apparently a frequency that activates it.
Well, if that mutant marker ink is the explosive, and
The
they
side
are
effect can
able
include
to,
infertility.
if they're able to mark all the mutants with that marker ink, they just have to turn on a frequency on every radio channel in the city and they can destroy every mutant there is.
Every mutant that's been marked by it.
Or
That's their plan, I guess.
they're mixing the chemical in with the rainbow sugar, feeding it to kids, and have been doing since the. Oh my god, they can track every mutant.
I doubt that that's the case. Rainbow sugar seems to only work on children up to age 10, whereas this is a marker ink that is toxic, lethal, and poisonous. If it's ingested, it will kill you. So I think if they put it in cereal, it would have killed every child that ate it.
It's like headache.
Just like Headache Boy over there.
What?
He's dead now.
I'm
Rest
not
in peace,
dead.
Pangolin.
Am I dead?
No, you're not dead. I'm just pissing.
Okay.
I think that this is the ink that's been getting tattooed on mutants. You must have seen the stories. Even I know about them. And I live in a hole in the ground.
Oh, yes, I've seen the stories, obviously.
Mutants are being tattooed, going into these kinetics places, coming out with tattoos on their neck. This is what they're tattooing them with.
And it's made in the same production line as rainbow sugar.
Or
Have there
maybe
been
Rainbow
any,
Sugar was made here earlier, and then they just repurposed this facility.
have there been any kids, like, has there been any correlation between children ingesting rainbow sugar and then croaking, snuffing it, dying?
Roll me an
Expiring?
insight. Roll me an insight.
For reference, I'm going to tuck both of these movement shipments away somewhere safe.
You can't think of any clear correlation that comes to mind.
We could always Google it later.
You could, yeah.
Yeah. Or, has Kinetics been suspiciously giving out large amounts of money to small families who've just had a bereavement in the family? Because that would make them monsters.
We already are monsters, you idiot.
Yes, but I mean bigger monsters.
Like Pangolin.
What?
No, I mean he's not a monster. He's just logically challenged.
Blue.
And I'm red.
Well, might not think he's a monster, but people might think he and Igni are monsters. because they don't look like the others.
We look as we're supposed to look. There's nothing wrong with how we look.
That's. I agree.
Black
But
stuff
those
on
who
me.
aren't mutants wouldn't.
All mutants should accept all other mutants, regardless for what they look like or whatever their powers may be. Any mutants that think otherwise are part of the problem.
Wow, heavy thoughts.
Shut up.
Should we be
Ian.
gathering the evidence and scarpering now?
I have the evidence in my pocket. Are we taking a barrel with us, or are we just going?
Take one.
If we already know what's in the barrels, do we really need to take one?
Well, I'm thinking that maybe the people in Sanctuary can do tests on it. If they can find a way to, I don't know,
And
disable.
Pangolin, you can't carry a barrel while you need to burrow us out of here.
I could probably carry it.
I can put it down and dig and pick it up. Put it down and dig
Carry
and
the barrel?
pick it up.
I don't feel like doing a dig around again, but in 3 times the time.
Hang on. Andy, would I know if the Sanctuary get much radio traffic coming in and out of it? Actually, saying that, presumably you just mentioned there's people with the tattoos in Sanctuary, so presumably if this thing activates, it hasn't activated on any of these people, obviously.
Yeah.
It might be doing something not obviously, but...
Yeah, I mean, there is radios and that are operated in Sanctuary. They have radios for everything, especially for communicating down the tunnels.
Okay.
But yeah.
Alright, guys, this place is supposed to go in 3 months, yeah? About 3 months?
Give or
2.
take.
2.
I reckon we take this paper information back. We tell the people at Sanctuary that this place is, going to be destroyed and could kill a bunch of humans or civilians. I think then maybe they can decide if they want to come back and move stuff out. I feel awkward about taking an entire barrel of this stuff into Sanctuary.
What about
Anyone carrying a test tube then?
Do you have a test tube?
You
Not
see what
on
I'm
me.
wearing?
My
That's
point
what I have.
exactly.
I'll walk over and take the first aid box off the wall. Box.
No, that will not work.
I mean, I suppose you could put it in and then I could melt the plastic to seal it in tight.
Because I might be able to use my telekinesis to put it in a tube without touching any of us.
But we don't have a tube.
Box.
What are you giggling about, Andy?
If you don't know, you shouldn't know. Jack might know. Josh probably knows what I just did.
Some of us know.
Brain. As Pangolin goes and rips off this first aid box, you suddenly hear 4 more voices in your head.
In your head.
And the thoughts of, God, I hate this job. And bloody cold. I think I might cheat on my wife tonight.
Jesus.
Why are people in my head talking about the job they hate and that it's cold here? I really don't understand those voices. They're weird.
Wait, you can hear new voices?
Every time, I mean, I think I just have mental damage from my power, but I don't know.
Did you see anybody outside when you were by the window? Yes or no? Did you see anybody outside when you were by the
No.
window before?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Guys, I think there might be people coming. I think we either need to leave right now this second or get ready to fight.
Right, I'm
But
ready.
they're just voices in my head. Nothing wrong.
How exactly are we going to leave?
Through the hole.
Hole.
Make a new hole.
Making
gonna
a
know this?
hole quietly.
I don't think it matters. How are they going to chase us if we're collapsing the hole behind us?
Fair point. So, back out to the hole then.
The hole's closed.
Yeah, and this hole is just the floors collapsed that much. It's just a hole in the floor now. There isn't any sign of a hole that was there. You know it's probably in the middle, but it's all collapsed.
Can I see anything over towards the door from without going near the door?
You don't see anything from the door, but a bit of light catches your eye on one of the windows. One of the trees that was darkened a minute ago, you see like a flash of light go past it.
Turn the lights off on the suit.
Yep.
How high up did you say the ceiling was? Then there's rafters in there, right?
The racking goes up like 30, 40 feet. The ceiling's a bit above that sort of thing. It's probably about 45, 50 feet in the air.
Right by the ceiling, would there be anything that I could stand on?
Yeah,
Or
there's
climb onto?
girders. There are girders that go across the ceiling that are slightly lower with parts going up to the roof. If you can get up there, you can
hold
probably.
quickly, or should we fight them? I don't know. What are we doing?
Right.
We need to get. We could be able to get to the roof. We said.
I can
No
fly up
parts
to the
for me.
ceiling. But the other two can't.
I have an idea.
Yes.
You two, to the
We need
rafters.
to get out. What?
You two get to the rafters. Pangolin, with me.
Right.
Okay.
I
I
flap
follow the
up to
robot
the-
man.
Yeah. So I'm going to stand me and Pangolin next to one of the machines, throw the sheet back over the machine, and then just drape it over the pair of us. Take the other sheet, drape it, so we look like stacks next to the
Yep.
machine.
Undark.
I'm gonna quietly
Okay.
say to Brain what's happening and just say, "They've covered themselves in a cloth." Oh God.
Undark.
They stood in front of Pangolin, it's fine. They'll just see machine parts.
Yeah. And you're stood under these sheets. Igni and Brain, you're up in the rafters. And it's silent. Brain, you can still hear these random thoughts. Igni, and because you guys are a bit more elevated, you can see the light a bit more clearly. And you get the feeling they're probably walking around the building at the moment.
If I can, I want to get close to Brain and just very quietly say to him, "Brain, if those new voices disappear from your head, just squeeze my hand."
What kind of weird fetish do you have?
Just
They're
do
just
it.
voices in my head. There's
Shut
nothing wrong.
You can hear these people outside.
No, I can't. They're just weird voices in my head. Nothing wrong with me.
We didn't know there were people outside. You heard voices, and now there's people outside. Maybe you hear more voices in your head the more people there are. I don't know. But for whatever reason, if these new voices go away, squeeze my hand.
Want to?
If you don't want to, I'll just leave you here. Or melt your face off. Squeeze my hand when the voices go away.
And you watch as the light makes its way round, disappears, and then you start seeing it again on the other side of the building. All of a sudden, you never noticed it in the darkness, but the light shines through a lower window, and there's a little side door that you hadn't spotted, and you see the light shoot across where the machinery equipment is, and it slightly lights it up. and then it disappears. And you see the lights continue to move around the building. After about 5 minutes, Brain, the voices slowly fade away and disappear. And you're left with the voices of your party once again.
Spice up your life. Spice up your life.
Meow 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 meow.
Can't stream.
Oh god, I don't want to get in a fight. I don't know what to do if we get in a fight. Oh god,
they're gone.
they're gone. Okay. I'll flap back down to the floor quietly and go over to the concealed lumps. And I'll just say, I think they're gone.
I'm a machine.
Okay, Mr. Machine, but I think the guys have gone.
Right.
Could you remove the sheet, please?
No. I'll walk away from them.
Ah,
It's over
okay.
my
I'll
head,
take the
I'm
sheet.
spiking
Yeah,
it
I'll
up.
take the sheets off.
I used my telekinesis already.
Straight up.
I don't have very good depth perception with this. You see, I'd get myself tangled. It happened once.
Okay, I
That
reckon we
sounds
leave.
like a really big mechanical flaw.
Well, I mean, it is a prototype.
I think it's time we leave, guys.
Right. Wait, do you
So-
want the stuff?
Huh?
The stuff.
I don't think we bring it. I think it's too dangerous to bring back to. We'll let them decide if they want to come get it at a later time.
Right. I go and start digging a hole.
Yeah, and you see Pangolin just starts moving the concrete rubble out the way. And not
Scrape it with my
too
left hand,
loud.
right? They'll leave little black streaks on it.
No, it's fully dry. Yeah, no, and you're moving this rubble out, and you see Pangolin slowly lower into the ground, and a hole left behind him.
Follow after.
And go straight down. Not that flexible.
Who's next?
I go after him.
Somebody fell over.
I will go last again.
Yep. And
Close it up.
you're all going back into this hole?
Yep.
No worries.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Should we-
and
Should we prop the floor back up?
I'm doing that with my telekinesis.
Ah,
Oh, I can't do that.
They're gonna
And
notice we've been there eventually, but hopefully not for a little while.
Brain, you seal it up and you try and push the floor back up as much as possible and try and support that as best as you can, but still sealing the tunnel in as you descend back into the darkness.
Ceiling.
and the lights back on.
Yep. And you're once again illuminated and surrounded by dirt.
Andy, did the GPS device have a return to home button on it?
Yes, it has a return to sender button.
Return to sender.
It's fine, it's this
That
way.
way.
Pangolin's also very experienced with hole digging and everything, so he can kind of... He has a general feeling.
And in a lot of
Um,
holes, as Pangolin.
Pangolin's already going in the right direction.
Yeah, he's used to this tunneling malark. And yeah, and you tunnel back. It takes you the same amount of time, obviously. And you get back to the main tunnel once again, where the car's parked up.
I don't know if we can turn the car around here.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm good. I'll be honest, Pangolin could probably just lift it up and turn it round for
I've
you,
already
but yeah. Yeah.
I could do
You just
that.
see, as you exit and you're dusting yourself off, Pangolin literally just lifts up the car and turns it round and puts it back down.
Or
I
slightly
could
crumpled.
do that without even touching it.
I mean,
Yeah, but it's
I-
already going
I-
the right way now. You don't need to.
I do know how to perform a 3-point turn.
Right? But it's only points the right way.
Why would you gather points for turning a car?
It's a scoring system. Don't worry about it. It's the reason why you get points on your license. And then I'll go to the back of the thing and start disassembling the suit and packing it away.
Lancelot, do you remember if you were supposed to ring Princess when we finished? I wasn't listening because she was insufferable.
Fair.
Do I remember if I'm supposed to ring Princess or not?
She said that she would meet back up with you. She never really said, like, when or where.
We'll just return to Sanction. I'm sure she'll be fine. I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
We'll just hang around, someone will
Death.
show up.
Mutilation? Humiliation?
Alright, Cheery.
Yeah? Are you waiting at the car?
You know
Reckon
what?
we
Screw it.
drive
We'll get in the car. We'll just drive back to Sanctuary.
Okay.
Hey, I got good news, guys. There's no Spice Girls to be played. Bad news is, we don't have any music unless you want me to turn my phone back on.
Spice up your life.
I still hear music in my
Spice
head.
up
I
your
don't know. One
life.
of my voices in my head is singing.
Spice up your life. It's not in tune at all. Most of the words aren't there.
And that voice just can't really sing. It's so out of tune.
Pangolin singing out loud as well.
Yep.
I think it's Pangolin singing.
Spice up your life.
Maybe you should all just have a nap.
I don't need a
drive.
nap. We've only been out for like an hour or so.
It's a long journey.
Who's driving?
That would be me. I was
Can
the
you
only
roll
one
me a
trusted.
vehicle roll, please?
You're the only one with a license, mate.
Yeah, I was the only one trusted to drive.
I mean, Pangolin is forklift certified, I'm sure, but
23.
I don't think he's got a driver's license.
And as you're driving, through these tunnels, there is a rock that you see at the last minute, and you manage to swerve around it. Other than that, it's quite a nice hour drive back to Sanctuary through the tunnels, and as you approach, you see there's a few people who are stood in the road, and as you pull up to them, they look at you and they pull up. All right, chaps, where are you from? Who are you?
We were sent on a mission by Princess. We've come back from that mission.
Where's Princess?
I don't know, she pissed off and said she'd meet up with us.
Yeah, she does that. Oh, you're Pangolin. I've heard about you. Oh, you caused some right chaos down on Tunnel 13, didn't you? Oh,
Yep.
you. Oh, right. Well, hang on. Wait here 2 seconds. Let me just go radio it in. I'll get your clearance, and then you can progress.
Stop. Before you do anything with your radio, what frequency
What's-
is your radio set to?
It's on channel 2.
Do you know what frequency it pumps out?
Not a clue, mate. I'll be honest.
Okay, we've learnt some key information regarding radio signals and the tattoos that some people have. The kinetics ones.
Oh, you are a mutant. You are now gonna be obvious. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah.
I've got one here.
Essentially-
See, look, and he kind of tilts his head, and you see the marker on his neck.
Yeah.
I'd recommend not using your radio.
Lancelot, can you use that frequency on him?
Well, if I don't use my radio, lass, how am I supposed to radio in and check if you are okay?
I mean, I could just ring them.
No, the
easy to check if they're
procedure is to radio, and
Yeah,
I
but
cannot
we've
allow
learned-
you to ring. You could be an intruder.
I live here, you dumbass.
How do I know that? I don't know you, Iggy.
You just said my name, you prat.
Well, yeah, but you could be an imposter, couldn't you? Look, you know the procedures when you come
Okay,
back
well,
from
ask
the
me a question that
tunnels.
only I would know.
All right. What did you get me on my birthday 3 years
wrote
ago?
The procedures.
I got you what I get everyone on their birthday. I got you a fancy rock that I thought looked cool at the time.
No,
I believe-
you forgot about my birthday and you didn't get me anything 3 years ago, Igny.
Yeah, that probably sounds right as well. I don't remember many people's birthdays. Do you know how many people are in Sanctuary, mate?
I know
Like, at least
who
12.
I know. There's more than
Anyway,
12.
listen.
Look,
we've
I have
learned-
to radio in, Igny. You know the rules. Like I've done
Listen.
1,000 times before when you've come back.
Do you ever, whenever you use the radio, do you ever feel weird afterwards?
Yes, I feel tired.
Okay,
But
well,
it's mainly
we've
because
learned,
it's been a long day.
we've learned that the tattoos might be affected by radio frequencies.
What do you mean
So-
affected? It's a tattoo.
It's a tattoo from kinetics.
Ooh.
It's a special
it's-
kind of ink.
Yes, it could be poisoning you.
Yeah,
Well,
that's why we need to get back in.
isn't that the case with most tattoos? No?
Also, if I was to just take off,
No.
you wouldn't be able to catch me anyway. You know that.
It's not the point. You know, Century rules. We would have to raise the alarm, Ignite, and you would be arrested very quickly. You know
Okay,
how
but
it
could
works.
you not ring in with the special
No, when you
phone
say
that I was given?
oh, hang on. When you say special tattoos, is it like this one on beforehand that glows in the dark? Because I wouldn't mind another one of them.
Did that one? Is
What?
that one
No.
set by Kinetic?
No, that was done by Mary on level 72.
It has cool
The one
tattoo
in your
skills.
neck, was that one placed there by Kinetic?
Which one? The one I'm in
The
it?
one you
Yeah.
showed in the neck?
It's
Yeah,
only
I
the
got-
one on your neck.
I got that 5 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah,
That-
they could
that
be
one.
bad juju.
I mean, I feel fine, and I've used a radio in the last 5 years every day of my life.
Hey, I got a question. I'm guessing this guy's a security person, right?
Yeah.
We kind of breezed over that. Do you know when Pangolin was brought in and they were mentioning like he kept getting angry and he tried to eat that person?
Oh,
What?
God, Jesus, yeah, that was all talk. That poor
Do you
kid.
know if there
What?
was any radio stuff going on around that time?
What, like, was he listening to some tunes?
I don't know. Like Pangolin, do you have a?
What?
Were you marked by kinetics anywhere on your body?
What? No.
I've seen most of Pangolin's body since he was naked.
He
Does
just
he have
has
any
to-
tattoos?
He's looking at his arms. What? No.
Don't.
Maybe
don't.
it's under his scales.
Okay,
Look,
just
Where we
radio in. If
stopped?
anything goes to shit, you know it's still us, but there's weird stuff afoot.
right.
And I'll find you a pretty rock to make up for your birthday.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go radio this in, as I'm supposed to. So wait here, James. Don't let Igny move. We don't know who she is. And he walks
Let's
off a
let him
few
off.
paces, and then he pulls out his radio, and it takes a few minutes, and then he comes
I
back over.
brace myself.
Yeah, we weren't expecting you back for another hour, but I suppose you're just a bit quicker than you usually are, maybe? I don't
Usually,
know.
this is the first time we've been out.
Oh, right, I see. You're not used to the return procedure, are you, Igny? That's a bit weird, because you've come in through every other day from this tunnel.
I mean, that's for like welding and repairing work, not for going out on secret missions.
You sure you're not an imposter?
No, maybe I am an imposter. Maybe I don't know your wife. Maybe I didn't see your kid the other day. Maybe I don't know that you have a really awkward, shameful bald patch that you keep trying to hide by wearing hats that no
Alright,
one thinks
Let
you.
him through, boys. Let him through. It's Igny. Let him through. And
How many
they
people
move out the way of the
Do you
road.
have this city?
Just
How
listen,
many
just
what?
own it and
Sorry?
shave the rest of your hair off.
No. Shut up, Igny. What do you want there, sir? No? Hello?
Huh?
Sir? Sir in the back
Which
of the
sir?
car?
What?
One who looks like a brain? Did you
What?
say something, sir?
Well, I was wondering how many shape-shifting mutants you have in this city if this is necessary.
Don't know the exact figure, but there's probably a dozen or so, sir.
One.
Two.
One.
They're a bit hard to detect with on all the shapeshifter. Are you a shapeshifter, sir?
Yeah.
Sort of
Oh.
is.
Oh, very interesting.
You
Anyway,
really think
look,
he looks like
no,
this every day?
no conversations at the border. You know the rules. Move on. If you want a conversation, and clock off in 2 hours. It's
Break that
part of
rule
my
every time I come past
part of my security checks. All right, drive on before I change my mind and arrest you.
I'll just drive us on without any further ado.
Very good.
I can do this shape. I can do this shape. I can do this shape.
And you approach the top ring of Sanctuary, and yeah, you're back at Sanctuary.
So, where do you reckon we need to go? Like back to where we had the chat with Infinity, or just hang around
If you
here?
yell really loud, it echoes.
No, this is too big. And it's too
Echo!
Well, I'll
Igni, you would know that on return from any mission from the tunnels and that, you usually have to go down to the bottom and check back in. And you're vaguely aware that people who go out on expeditions and that, and anyone who just goes up to the surface also has to come back down and be checked back in.
This is like very inefficient positioning.
Yeah, I know.
It is.
It
We
is.
gotta do
It
this
is really hard.
check-in. We gotta go all the way back down to the bottom just to check in, and then I guess we'll just hang around and wait for Princess to show up.
Right.
do I just leave my suit here, or do I take it with me?
Put it on
Or
if you want.
I'll get dressed back in the armor then.
Yeah.
Aha!
You don't kill
Much better.
anybody.
And you begin the descent down Sanctuary. And you're probably on like the 10th revolution? Revulsion?
You got it the first time.
Revolution.
Revolution. When all of a sudden you hear this giant thud on the roof of the car.
What are you doing,
What?
Pangolin?
It's not me.
And Pangolin, as you turn around, Princess is stood on top of the car.
It's the Spice Girls one.
Oh, fuck.
I said wait for me.
You
We
caught
did.
up.
Well, you didn't tell us where to wait for you.
Well, I figured you'd wait at the... Oh, never mind. We're here now. Keep driving, driver. Who's driving? And you see this head drop down in front of the window.
We're walking down.
I'll
You're
turn on the
driving
windscreen
down.
wipers.
She kind of frowns as the windscreen wipers start flapping in front of her.
Out of the way, out of the way. Can't see.
Why's my music not playing?
We hate it.
Spice up your life. Spice up.
Pangolin seems to like it. No one else did.
She kind of slumps down onto the bonnet of the car as you're driving it down, and she kind of just lies on the bonnet. Let me know when we're at the bottom.
That's not
Lance,
real seat.
Lance, just do a brake check.
Ooh. Tempting, but no. She's stronger than me. No.
Valid point, but still, boo.
Yeah. Don't piss off the super strong lady.
That's me.
And yeah, you get to the bottom of Sanctuary. There's a nice little car park. Park up, and Princess kind of says, "Right, come on, let's go report in, hand in what we've got. You find anything
What were you
good?
doing? We did. What were you doing?
None of your business, Igni. You know the rules."
I mean, clearly I don't. This is my first mission that I've been sent on.
Yeah, well, we don't talk about the mission.
Then why are you asking us about the mission?
I'm not. I'm taking you to where you tell
just
us about
did.
the mission.
You just asked if we found anything.
Well, yeah, but did you?
For a
Dunno, did you?
city where you can be free, you do have a lot of rules.
Look, I'm a senior operative, okay? I know everything.
Yeah, you definitely seen you.
Did you find anything in the warehouse or not?
Probably.
Okay.
I guess we'll report it in when we debrief.
Fine. Feel like
But
that,
yeah, we
Igni.
did. We found something huge, and it's really pivotal.
Okay. What'd you find? A robot?
We already had one
A
time.
robot.
Hmm.
You know the tattoos people have? The kinetics ones?
The ones they give to the mutants who hand themselves in, yeah?
Yeah, we learned something about the ink.
Oh no, is it blue?
No, it's
Oh.
lethal, poisonous, can cause infertility, rage,
Tastes like headache.
confusion. Pangolin ate it and somehow didn't die, even though it's supposed to be lethal if you consume it.
Why did you eat
And
it?
it can be activated through a radio frequency.
What?
Yeah. Oh, and also they plan
So-
to blow up a facility that will take out 30,000 civilian lives.
Also, super addictive children's cereal.
Also, super addictive children's cereal, rainbow shit. What's it called?
Rainbow sugar.
And she just stops in her tracks. Okay, you guys go on ahead, Pangolin. This way. I better
What?
get you to medical.
I can take it.
Come with me. Come on.
Right.
The rest
I
of
hope
you, I'll
I'm
see you in
To
10.
use those world famous last words.
And she takes Pangolin off in one direction, and you're at this like reception area where there's some guards, and they're beckoning you over at this point. And yeah, you go in, and you're told there's a bit of a wait, and you'll be debriefed. And yeah, that is where we end this episode.